This is Protego, also known as Moose, who is owned and was bred by Melissa Stubenberg. This video is going to chronicle his 2 weeks in Aiken. Here we take him to Bruce's field for the schooling day just to see the sights and be in the schooling area and to get on the trailer and go someplace else. It's often a big deal for them to do that. This is the first riding day in Aiken. He's hacking out with a friend. And this is his first jump school in a field. Because of when he started jumping, he has really only jumped in an indoor. And he's been very good in the indoor, but this is his first jump school in the field, and I was very happy with how focused he is. My place in Aiken, this is a 20-acre open field, so if it starts to go wrong, it's a bit of a problem, but he was really good, and I was happy with him. He had a green moment over the box. Here, I slightly override the second time, and he was quite good. Again, once he gets used to seeing different things, he's perfectly fine. He's actually quite a brave horse. Although these jumps are very little for him, this is a big mental stress for him. Here's his first cross-country school. Prior to him being ridden, he was led around and let see the sights and get used to the environment while I rode another horse. That's him actually doing his first ditch. It was such a non-event, you couldn't even really tell it was a ditch. Here is his first time going into water, and I 100% knew he was going to go by the way he was actually looking at it. The only thing I was a little bit concerned at was I am completely at the end of the reins, and if he decides to misbehave, I have zero control. Now, he doesn't, and I just give him a moment to look at it, evaluate it, and take his time going in there. And I always make sure whenever I do something new, and you've seen that already in the video, the young horses always have what I call a fearless leader. We did several days later take him for his second cross-country school. Here he is at the Vista, just going to another place, doing different jumps. I couldn't have been more happy with him. One of the things at Sandy Hills, it's a great venue, but they don't have any good little banks. So I knew that the Vista had these little banks, and so you're seeing him now at his first attempt. He couldn't have cared less. Maybe he would have been okay with the bigger banks, but I never like to take that chance. And he's just as good as he can be. And here we are trying to put it together. He's a little bit slow picking up the canter because I popped up the bank so many times and let him walk. There's his first time coming down the bank, didn't quite figure out what to do with all his parts, and there he figures it out the second time. If I do not think that the fence, whether it be a ditch or bank, is small enough, I don't attempt it. Here he is getting a lead over a good bit bigger ditch. It's deeper and wider. It's, again, a very appropriate baby ditch, but he was a little bit spooky about it. I jumped the out first, got him comfortable with the ditch, and here I am putting the ditch and the fence behind it together. We move from this smaller baby field to the beginner novice field, and again, he's getting a lead into the new water. You can tell that we're schooling with some other green horses because you'll see them come around and get a lead in as well. I am not a big fan of cross-country schooling, but I do think these baby days are pretty fun. They're not high pressure, and it's fun to see the babies learn and progress. And if you're methodical about it, they really learn to trust you. And he was very good about the water there because we gave him some time. I did let him look at the jumps before I cantered them. And we introduced some different looking jumps, some bigger jumps. But he had already walked up to that and knew that it was there, so he was pretty comfortable with that. Because we had done so many cross-country schools, a couple of days later, I went ahead and did a little bit of a grid with him just to try to keep his shape. I had done some grid work with him in Pennsylvania in the indoor, but here he is in the open field. This is actually, I wasn't sure that we would get to do any sort of competition. I took him to my good friend Allison Eastman's combined test that they have, and I ended up just doing a show jumping round. This is his first time at a show. This is his first time jumping jumps, having not looked at them. I know some people feel very strongly that that's right or wrong. I'm known for producing very brave horses, and I've always let the babies look, and it doesn't mean you have to let them look forever. And some of that we're seeing here as he's actually very confident about this. Allison does a great job setting this up, but there's quite a lot to look at. And he's very confident. You'll see as he comes right here, he has a little bit of a peek at the white oxer, but again, he comes up with the right answer. One of the things about this 2 weeks in Aiken is this is not sustainable for a horse to do for several months. He did this for 2 weeks. We tried to make the most of his time down there. He seemed to mentally handle it. Had he not been mentally handling it well, we would have backed off. And when he goes home, he was going to have a few light days, and then we were going to do some grid work, just something that he was really familiar with, so that he gets a chance to absorb his time in Aiken. I am very excited about the progress we made while we were down there.